What is up, everyone? In this episode, we're going to go around the body, get that in filler, and then I'm going to try to get it in primer. There's only one main thing to note is this section right here. I think what I'm going to do is use fiberglass to fill it for the majority of the dent, and then go over it with just normal filler. But if I were to pull this out because of how the panel is installed, this section runs underneath this section, so if I pull this out, that's going to pull this lower section out with it, and we don't want that because it's in a good spot. So yeah, this will be an interesting one. Here we go. Alright, so because the car's been sitting for a while in the shop, there's a little bit of surface rust, so I'm going to go over it quickly with the DA. Alright everyone, this is what we're looking like after block sanding all the body filler out. Probably looks like a lot, but it's actually all really thin stuff. Like really thin. So, yeah, I think that'll do. Now we gotta do the other side. So I'll do this side, and then the gas tank, and then the roof. Cool. Here we go. Alright everyone, let me show you what's going on. So while blocking this section right here, the quarter panel, this whole stretch right here is a little too high. Fortunately, it was something that I couldn't feel until I got body filler on it. But all of this other stuff is really good. It's just this section right here. So I'm gonna go and shrink that down and then redo it. Alright, so I forgot to turn the camera back on, but I ended up redoing the whole freaking section and then re-glazing over it with body filler. So now I'm letting it dry, and then I need to block it out, same with the rest of the car. Cool. Alright, so let me show you guys what's going on. This is one of the mounting points for the target top. Unfortunately, you can only get one side from Toyota. And I'm wondering if it's possible to make it work for the other side. So what I'm going to do is take mine apart. So here's mine. Unfortunately, you can't see in there, so I'm gonna have to take this apart to see how this is. But that's off of my car that's just been painted, so I'm pretty nervous about it. So yeah, I'll get this apart and then I'll show you guys what I find. Cool. Alright guys, so I got it taken apart. The new one only comes as the right side, so that would be this side. So I took the left side apart, I think, yes. Took the left side apart here. The one that's right here. Here's what it looks like. It's only got, or it's got both of the sides slotted versus this one where it's only round. That is the only difference. So all I have to do to this new one, or the next one that we get, is slot it a little bit more and it'll be the same. So yeah, you can definitely use the right side for both. You just have to slot the end for it to work. So now I gotta put it back together and put it back on my car. Fun. Alright, so I've been waiting to do the roof until I got time to fit the actual target top. And just been waiting for the hardware, so that finally came in. So I'm gonna get that stuff on the new target top. And then we'll put it on the car, check the fitment, go over it a few times, and then I can decide to start putting filler on. The last thing I want is to put filler on and something be off, and then, you know, whole big deal. So here we go. Okay, so one side, these are both the same. Unfortunately, you can't get left and right available from Toyota. They only have one side available. So the only difference was that one side has a larger slot on both of these. And then on top of that, there's supposed to be a spacer that goes on the bottom. A 1mm or 2mm spacer. Mine was 2mm. So I'm just going to use these washers for now. So I don't have to make something just for test fitting. Okay, so here's what these things look like. They go right here. They're labeled R or L. Don't know if that's picking up. Got a little spring to keep this in. Okay, let me show you guys what's going on. So we got the brackets in. Focus. Got the bracket here. This bracket, because of the damage that happened to the roof, it's bent up. I don't know how to show that on camera. You can see it's hitting the top of the roof right here. Versus the other side. Come on. There it is. So there's a gap in between. So I need to fix that side to match what this one looks like, because this side I had the roof on and this side all sits good. That side was way off. So that's going to be fun to figure out. You can see like welds here. Someone else did too. That's not factory. So I got to figure out how to pull that down. Alright, well, wish me luck. Okay, let me show you the headache that I'm dealing with now. So I removed the brackets on this side. I bolted that side in. So those are in. But you can see how high the side is sitting. There's no, you can't go down because this thing right here is too far up, I guess. And you can see the gap. It's pretty wide back here. So I don't know. This car is such a headache. Okay. So it took far too long just to get to this point. That's probably the best that gap's gonna be. Unfortunately, right here to there, it's a little wide. Just because this was replaced. You can see the patch panel. Got this front looking pretty good now. Bolts in. Definitely gonna have to use body filler in there. I don't know. Might. I don't think I'm gonna try pulling any of that out. See the other side. Other side's looking pretty good. I might go down just a little bit more in the front, just a tiny bit. But here's the good side, you know, that doesn't have the damage. Everything's looking pretty good there. There is supposed to be a pretty big gap right here for the seal that goes in there. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, just a shame about this section. It's like the worst of it is like right there. Yeah, I might put some studs in there, I'm not sure yet. But this side feels really good. I think it's that side. That side, this side needs to go down maybe just a tiny bit. Yeah, right about there. I don't know if it shows on camera me. If I push it, it goes pretty much exactly where I want. So if I just remove that tiny little bit from there, from the bracket, I think I'll be happy. That took way too long to do. Yeah, that took so long to get in a workable state. It was so off. Everything was so off. Fun. Okay, so here's an update on the roof. Been working at it for quite a while. This side is really good. This side you can see sticks up just a little bit. But the biggest thing for me right now is because we're using this bracket right here is that bracket. So there's supposed to be one for each side. Toyota doesn't sell this one anymore. So we're using that one, another one of those over here. So to make that work took quite a bit. But the biggest thing for me that I like right now is the fact that it's not bolted in. And the fact that it's not bolted in and fitting that well, I think is pretty good. Okay, so now what I need to figure out is if and what I can pull out from this section to help close that gap up. Kind of gives you an idea how far it has to go. So this will be interesting because obviously I can't, this is all pretty flat, so it won't go that way a whole lot. So we'll see how much it'll go. Alright, so this is pretty close to my last final go at it. I got just the side bolted in. This gap is starting to look decent. decent enough for filler at least. Problem now is because I got this lower, I took the shim out, the shims that I had inside of the bracket right here, so it could go down more. So this fits really good right here, but then over there it sticks up, you can see right there. So I might re-shim it and then bend the target top a little bit on the edge so it curves a little bit more. I don't know. So when it was shimmed, right here was really good. It was this backside that was bad. And that might be bad because the damage was right here and it pushed it in, so this might have got pushed in. And unfortunately I can't really get behind it to push it out at all. It's all structure work. So, yeah. Alright, everyone, so the final issue I was having with getting the target top to fit really well was it wasn't lining up with the hold that well inside there. I don't know if that shows on camera too well. But what I ended up doing was taking the base brackets I mounted the car on both sides and then dremeling them out a little bit so there's a little bit more play in them, and then sliding them that way a little bit. And now it bolts in much nicer. I can do it by hand now. Before it was off that way. So cool. Really happy with how it's turned out. I think it's pretty good now where it's at. So I'm probably gonna start filling this in with body filler tomorrow. And then finish blocking out the car. Then I'll glaze over the whole thing one more time. Sand it all out one more time. And then I gotta clean up all of the primer that's on it. Clean up all of this, and then we'll go to right here. And then get that all the way back in primer with my stuff. So, wow. There we go. Alright, just a little bit more stuff that I've been cleaning up. Here's an example. I don't know if you see that gap there. So I'm going to take the bracket off and pull that out so it's flush. Kind of like how the bottom is. And then just to show what the other side looks like. So, yeah. Okay, so I got everything blacked out pretty good. Now what I'm going to do is go over the whole thing with one really thin coat. Just to double check stuff, and that'll act as the first coat of primer. Help keep things a lot more level. For body filler. So, cool. Alright, so the final coat of body filler's on. Need to let that sit for a day so it gets really hard, and then block it out with probably 180 grit. Cool, guys. Just want to show you how thin it is in some spots. How thin I put it on, you can see through. So that's just how thin the coat actually is. So yeah. Alright, update time. So I've blocked out the whole car again multiple times. Went over a lot of it. Sanded a lot more of the primer off that was on the car. I had to redo that section like 4 or 5 times. But everything's finally come together. Now what I'm doing is taping off these seams where these like gaps are. And then I'm going to put seam sealer in them. So I got to finish doing like that. So that's what's going on right now. And then I'll record probably putting seam sealer on. Then after that I'll clean up a little bit more stuff, and then it should be ready for primer. Cool. Alright everyone, here is a look at the car now. I got it taped off, ready to go for some epoxy primer. Seam sealer is looking pretty good. I resanded the metal areas again just one more time with 180 grit just to ensure there's no rust or anything started too. But yeah, time to start spraying some primer. Here we go. All right, everyone, that'll do it for me for this one. There was a lot of little details that really took a long time to finish and flush out. The biggest problem area I had was actually this quarter panel. Probably redid that about 5 times, so it's unfortunate. But it's finally in primer. The next step will probably be the interior, get that in primer and seam sealed, and then I got to also fully fit the body kit and get that so the hardware can be mounted on. Yeah. Really appreciate the support, guys. Thank you.